Hey there, how's it going? My name is Keegan Kirk. I do tarot readings here on YouTube. If you are new here, it's nice to meet you. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. I hope that you get lots of guidance and insight from whatever comes out in the reading today. I do want to talk to you guys just really quickly about a couple of things. It's not going to take long. Please don't skip ahead. There's not going to be a mid-roll ad, so please just bear with me as I talk to you about this. It'll mean a lot to me if you don't skip ahead. First thing I want to talk to you guys about are personal readings for February. I'm still offering special prices for my recorded readings. So that's 30 minutes for $45, 60 minutes for $75. You send me your questions in advance. I record your reading and I send it to you. I'm also starting something brand new. I've never offered this before. For the entire time that I've been on YouTube, it's probably the most requested thing from people. And I've not done it until now. But starting in February, I'm going to do live one-on-one sessions, which means you will have a specific day and time that you and I connect one-on-one live. You can ask me whatever you want. I'll pull cards. We can talk about things. If you want me to look more deeply into something, if you want me to change directions, if you have specific things that come through that you want me to explore, you'll have full control over that session. That'll be a 60-minute session with me. It's priced at $150. If you are interested in doing a reading with me, all you have to do is send an email to keegantarot@gmail.com to book that reading. And I look forward to hearing from those of you who want to do personal readings with me in February. I'm super excited to see who takes advantage of the live sessions because I know lots of you have asked me to do those. For the February general reading spread, I'm going to be taking a look at areas where you might need to deal with some blocks. So we're going to take a look at the most urgent need, then we'll look at spiritual, emotional, and mental blocks, and then we'll take a look at any unseen factors that you might not even be aware of. So that's for the general reading, the one that you're watching now. Now I will be doing an extended reading for channel members, and in that reading, I'm actually just going to use oracle cards and a few tarot decks to get messages through from your spirit guides, your ancestors, and your higher self pertaining to the blocks and the information that comes out in the general reading. Now, I've had lots of people ask me how to become a channel member because YouTube makes it a little bit complicated. So I just want to walk you guys through that really quickly. So if you go to YouTube and you search for my channel, if you click on a PC on my channel, the easiest way to join is to click that join button. It's going to bring up this that you see. You can click join. It takes you through the entire process. It's much more complicated to do on your phone. Now, I will put a link in the description box below that will also allow you to take a look, to click through, to try on your phone. But I'm just telling you, it's so much easier if you can do it from a web browser or use a browser on your phone to sign up. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I walked you through those things. We are going to go ahead and go right into the general reading now. I've put up a reminder here for you so you can just have a reminder of what the spread is. I will walk you through that as we explore the cards. Okay, Cancer, let's take a look here and see what is going on with you guys. In the center here, we're taking a look at the most urgent need coming through for you. And it's very interesting what's shown up here. So I'm going to show you the cards really quickly just so you can see those up close. You have the Six of Cups reversed with the Queen of Pentacles upright, and then the Seven of Pentacles, which is also coming out reversed. Now, what's interesting to me here is that the energy that I'm feeling the most connection to is actually that Queen of Pentacles, which is sitting kind of like dead center in the spread. What this feels like to me is that you're really having to like tap into your, it almost feels like tapping into your survival skills. You know, the Queen of Pentacles, when she's upright, it's a good energy, but one of the things that this can represent is just needing to take a look at what you have available to you and kind of make the most of it. This does feel almost like making the best of a bad situation to me, basically because there's a lot of your energy that's flowing back into the past. The Six of Cups reversed represents someone who's kind of like, they're stuck with the past. They're not able to move away from it. And because it's reversed, looking back into the past is not with fondness. It's actually looking back at the past with a lot of regret. I'm feeling some anger here, some resentment that's coming through. It's interesting for me because there is energy here of having actually left something. So this could be leaving a relationship, having to leave what you consider to be home. There's this sense of having your home life be disrupted. this Seven of Pentacles, which we'll talk a little bit about this again, because you have the Seven of Pentacles here from another deck, which is upright. It's just interesting to me that they landed so close to each other, because I think this is something that's going to turn around for you. What I get from this in terms of like the most urgent need and kind of addressing that, though, is that you're still having doubts in your mind about whether or not this was something that could have gone somewhere or something you could have figured out. It's almost like looking at a situation and feeling like, well, I've made my choice now, but I'm wondering if I gave up on this too soon, walked away from this too soon. Is this something that I could have sorted out? Now, I do want to just say to you, the most urgent thing coming through energetically for you is a need to bring yourself into the present moment, to stop thinking about the past, stop overthinking or analyzing the decisions that you've already made, and just be settled where you are. Like I said, that Queen of Pentacles is the card that's coming through with the most energy. And if you look at this card, right, it's very peaceful. Now, I will say, again, this is obviously not going to be for everyone, okay? But just in case there is someone who's listening to this, that this is coming through for you, some of you might be dealing with a situation where you might be pregnant and trying to sort through what to do about that, right? And I'm really just saying that because I'm picking up on that energy. For all of you who are not worried about being pregnant, just bear with me here, because something's coming through for the people that kind of are concerned about that. Ultimately, whatever you decide is best for you in the situation, you're going to be okay. And, without going into, any sort of like what you should do, because that's completely up to you. I think it's just important for you to understand whatever decision you make, you're going to be okay. The same would apply to you as to everyone else, though, right? The best way for you to make a decision, the best way for you to think about things and kind of sort through them, if you're still actively in that decision-making place, is to bring your attention to the present, right? Don't worry about whoever the person from the past is. Don't worry about whether or not this was something that, could have been turned around. You have to get your energy present into what's actually happening around you. There's a disconnect here. It's like the energy, when I say the energy, it's like the potential energy is here in this card, but your energy is being pulled here and here, right? So you have to let go of the questioning, let go of the doubt, trust that you've made a decision that you were led to, trust that you made a decision that you were guided to, tune into your intuition, do a present moment check with yourself. Am I making the right decisions for me here in the present moment? Now, for some of you, like I said, you've already made decisions. You've either, made a decision about a pregnancy, made a decision about a relationship, made a decision about moving, made a decision about a job. And it's almost like, how do I explain this to you? It's like you've made the choice. You've made the decision. So second guessing that decision now doesn't really do you any good. It just keeps you kind of stuck from moving forward. You kind of just have to see it through. That's the message coming through. Pick your course and just go with it. See it through. If it feels like it's getting too tough for you, I think there'll be some stuff revealed when we look at things that might be blocking you. But I really feel like whatever decision you've made, it was the right one. I'm not getting anything that's concerning for me here other than this like doubt and questioning and focusing back in on the past. So I think it's really a situation of the most urgent need for you is to trust yourself again. Like trust that you've made the decision that's best for you and walk that path for a little bit. It's what I'm seeing visually just for those of you who like when I talk about what I'm seeing visually, is, I'm seeing someone who's honestly, they're walking on this like trail. It's not even like a road, it's like a trail, and they're carrying a little bag with them, and they get to a fork, right? And they bear off to the right, and then it's just they stop, and then they look over to the left, and they start hesitating and questioning. But you had this moment of like knowing, this is the way I need to go, not this way. And then as soon as you did it, you started doubting it. That you have to trust that nudge that you felt. And I think everyone listening to me will know what I'm talking about when I say you had that nudge. It's like you were nudged into a decision. And that wasn't something that came from nowhere, right? That was you looking at the situation. That was your guides guiding you. That was your ancestors protecting you. That was your higher self trying to interact with you, to push you onto a path. And now that you're on that path, you just need to keep going. Just keep going with it. I'm going to move into this area, which is the spiritual blocks. You have the Five of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. This Nine of Cups is reversed. Okay, I'm actually going to start talking about this Nine of Cups reversed. And apologies, guys. There is I'm filming this, and there's just randomly lots of traffic outside for some reason right now. So I'm not sure what that is. This Nine of Cups, I don't dig this energy. Okay, it just feels very defeated. And I get it. Like, I understand, and it's kind of like what I was talking about, right? Your spirit feels heavy. Your like your guards are up. I think that this connection, or this here's what's a little bit tricky, Cancer, and I'm gonna address this here. I feel like I'm reading for lots of different people. And it very well may be. Okay, so some of you, when I say like the situation, it was a relationship. But I'm also saying for some of you, when I say the situation, it really was just like a toxic living environment. It wasn't even necessarily that you were like living with someone you were in a romantic relationship with. It was just like you were living with family, and that was toxic, and you've decided to leave. Or necessity had put you into a situation where you're having to live with a friend or live with, strangers. And this living situation itself was just really bad and toxic. There might even be a few of you who are just like, this doesn't even feel like a love reading to you. You're thinking about like a toxic work environment, right? Like you just had enough one day, walked out. But the energy, regardless of what your specific situation is looking at your life, looking at where you're at, making this decision to leave it, to walk away from it, and then suddenly having all these doubts, suddenly having all these questions that are coming up. Okay. Now, it's very interesting for me in terms of these spiritual blocks, right? You have this defeated energy that I was talking about with this Nine of Cups. It just feels like there isn't any happiness inside of you, even though you've made a decision that you're aware is ultimately for your benefit, for your good. But there's no excitement behind it. And I think it comes from just, like if you like, I love the illustration on this card. I hope we can get focus, right? But this person just looks exhausted, right? They've been through it. They've had a lot that they've had to deal with, and they've just sat themselves down, and they're just trying to like catch their breath and process what they've been through. But I think what's most important for you in the situation is this that I said earlier that was so interesting to me, right? In that most urgent need, you have the Seven of Pentacles, which is reversed. But in your spiritual blocks, you're not seeing that this is trying to correct itself. The Seven of Pentacles upright, I love as a card because it basically is saying, when you put in the work, when you make the decision to commit to something, it's rewarded. because you get positive results. Even if it's something that might take a while, right? Even if it's something that once you started, it's not an immediate thing where everything just turns around. It's that test. This is a spiritual test for you. I will say, don't be discouraged. I think part of this like defeatist energy that I'm picking up on is because you do have an awareness that this is something that's going to take a while for you to sort through. It's something that's going to take you a while to like get yourself onto the other side of it. But you're not doing yourself any favors right now by being focused on the past. There is so much potential here. This Seven of Pentacles, I just want to stay with this for a minute because what I'm sensing here is that one of the lessons that's trying to come through for you spiritually is patience. And it doesn't even feel like outward patience, because I think, looking at these cards, right? I think you have a lot of patience when it comes to other people. Your tolerance for other people is really high. It's patience with yourself that you need to figure out. There are a lot of you who are misdirecting your anger. And it's interesting because there are some things that you do need to look inward to get clarity about, to accept responsibility about. But it almost feels like you're not paying attention to those things, the things that are actually yours to pay attention to. And what you're focusing on is kind of like bullying yourself. This Five of Swords, it does feel like it's connected to whatever the situation was, right? Like it feels mean, it feels manipulative. For some of you, this could have actually been like abusive or violent in terms of what you went through. But what's going on here energetically is like you're continuing to beat yourself up, to be mean to yourself, to bully yourself. It's things like, why did I stay in this situation for so long? Why didn't I see this coming? Why was I so, like, it's just that negative self-talk. You have to be gentle with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be kind to yourself right now. It's very important. I want to move down here to the emotional blocks. You have the Two of Pentacles reversed. You have the Queen of Swords reversed. And then you have this Six of Cups coming out again. Now, it's very interesting to me, and part of the reason why I just put the spread down, normally I do shuffle on camera, but I used 5 different decks because I wanted to give cards a chance to come out multiple times if they wanted to. And shuffling and putting 5 different decks down just would be too much time. But again, right, these 2 cards ended up right next to each other. Right? They're literally sitting right next to each other here. And I have to tell you, even though the Six of Cups, I'm gonna start with that card. Even though the Six of Cups is a good card, right? It's looking back at things from the past, kind of looking at them through like an affectionate, a caring sort of filter, like looking back at things with fondness. It's like we think back on the past and it brings us some sort of like a happy, warm feeling, okay, when it's upright. But this is coming through in emotional blocks, right? So we have to look at this in terms of everything that's being presented to us, okay? So, Two of Coins, what does this represent? This at its core represents really being unable to commit one way or the other, kind of struggling, not quite knowing, what it is that we need to do. And it's energy of being stuck. Not really, it almost feels like not even really knowing where to begin is what it's feeling like to me. Queen of Swords reversed. This is more of that Five of Swords type of energy. This is very cold, very cruel, very unfeeling, uncaring, um, cut off, cold sort of energy. I feel like emotionally what's going on here, and it's very interesting because this reading feels very similar to the Scorpio reading that I did. So I don't know if water signs are just, I haven't done Pisces yet, so we'll see what Pisces is like. But a similar theme came up with Scorpio, which was basically, for them, it was thinking back on the good stuff just kind of got them stuck, so they weren't making progress. I feel like for you, what's going on here is emotionally, you just aren't ready, or you're just not capable right now of processing the reality of the situation. And it feels almost like you can't even yet just accept what happened, right? Like, like I just heard somebody say, like, it's almost like an out of body experience. Like you can look at what happened and you can state it, but owning that it happened to you, there's a disconnect. There's that layer to it, and then underneath that, for a lot of you who are still listening to me, this feels like the reality of the person, right? Just not being able to accept, not being able to like let your emotions settle that this person was really cruel, that this person really did not treat you well. Trying to balance that with looking back and having this emotional, like this good emotional connection to the past, I think it's too much for you. So it's very interesting to me. I'm trying to this feels very guarded. Your emotions feel very guarded. And I'm trying to push through that to see what I can say to you to kind of help you unblock this. What I think I want to do here is I'm just going to grab an oracle deck. And for this particular section, I just want to get an oracle card out. I think that might help just in terms of giving us some communication from whoever wishes to communicate with you, whether it's your guides or your higher self here. So I'm just going to take the card right off the top and see. So this is, the moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. And that is what I'm talking about. It's you can still have your feelings, meaning you sincerely cared, you sincerely wanted to have this work, you put in the effort, you were you tried, and you don't have to try to tell yourself you didn't feel what you felt in order to heal from this. You don't have to deny the feelings and the emotions that you had. What you do have to do is really get unstuck about what was being returned to you, what was being given to you by the other person or in the situation. And it seems like that is where you're getting stuck emotionally, is allowing yourself just to accept that. And again, I'm picking up on this energy where it's, instead of saying like, this person was manipulative, this other person was, they cheated, they lied, whatever the situation is, right? Instead of doing that and putting those things rightly on that other person and their actions, you're trying to take on the blame for it. What did you do to make them do this? What could you have done to have prevented this thing from happening? And you can't take ownership of the other person's actions. You can't internalize that. That's not how it works. Now you can, once you've accepted this person as they are and you have a clear picture of them, you can say things like, what am I going to do to ensure that I don't end up in this situation again? What am I going to do to make sure that I don't repeat the pattern? Right? But that requires you dealing with some spiritual stuff and some emotional stuff first. Now I'm actually kind of moving us into this mental block area. Which, it's interesting what's come out there as well in terms of like what's ultimately gonna make your head what you're gonna have to sort through in your mind. But this feels kind of far away right now because there's so much resistance as I'm working my way around. Like the energy just feels very checked out. There are some of you who you're really checked out. I think it's almost like you're on autopilot. Some of you might just be like almost dissociating most of the time. But I'm just going to tell you this in hopes of reassuring you. It's going to be okay. There's nothing down here in terms of cards that make me feel like you're not going to sort through this or that you're not going to end up feeling better once you do. Let's talk about these cards. I'm just going to grab them here, show them to you. So you have the Page of Swords upright. You have the Seven of Swords upright. And then you have the Hangman, which is also upright. And again, we're talking about like the mental blocks, okay? One of the things that I want to say here is this side is where the energy feels really blocked. You're avoiding your emotions, you're avoiding your feelings, and you're not really confronting kind of the spiritual lessons in what happened. Okay, so this is where things feel stuck. Once you deal with these things, I like that this Hangman here, even though it's showing up as a mental block, I like that it's here as kind of the lead card for me, because when you sort through these things and you get to this point where you're starting to really just process it and you're detached a bit from the emotions, you've gotten a bit of distance from it, you understand why this happened on kind of like above that human level, that spiritual level, you're in a place where there's change that wants to come through. And, not to jump too far ahead, but, there's change that really does want to come through. And I'll talk about that, right? But I'm pointing to this card because you don't linger in kind of the mental fog that I think you expect you would be in for a long time. The reason that you're thinking it feels so blocked is because you're actively trying to control the emotional aspect of it. I do think one of the things that I want to say here in terms of some of the, like these two, be really careful who you're trusting right now. And I don't say that to be like, to freak you out. But these two cards in combination here just make me feel like there might be someone that you think you can trust, or someone that you think is kind of keeping your best interest in mind, who would be giving you advice, who might either be sharing things that you're saying, to people you might not want those things disclosed to. And again, when I just said that, again, that pregnancy thing came through. So at least one of you, this would, what I mean by that is, if you're trying to keep something secret, or if you're trying to decide whether or not you want to share something, this person might disclose it before you're ready for them to, or they might tell someone that you don't want to know. But for the rest of you, this feels like a situation where don't allow other people's opinions or other people's wishes for you to be the thing that ultimately makes you choose one way or the other. Because this needs to be a decision that you make based on what's best for you. Also, really listen to what people are saying to you and try to verify information. Especially if it's related to someone trying to nudge you to go opposite. That analogy I used earlier where it's like you went to the right. Like if someone comes down there like, no, you don't want to go this way, you want to go that way. Don't just trust like another person. Listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition. Okay. Speaking of intuition, I want to move down here to the unseen factors because I kind of already talked a little bit about it, right? We'll just say here, okay? There's going to be a lot of change that happens once you clear these blocks. That's why I was saying on this side, it feels very stuck. When you deal with the spiritual, you deal with the emotional, boom, it's fast. But it's really important. Two things here with this High Priestess card. Number one, you have to get reconnected with your intuition. You have to. Because that's really how you're going to be able to navigate the speed at which things start to change. And you're going to have to be nimble and make decisions. You can't still be in this energy, this blocked energy. But the other thing with this High Priestess in terms of like unseen factors, what I was saying here about be careful who you're talking to, I think you might have to just really limit who you're talking to. The High Priestess is very guarded, silent, right? Not communicating what she's thinking, not communicating what she's going to do. She's very protective of what the plan is, okay? And it's really important that you do that. There are people involved in this who have their own agenda and want to see you do a specific thing. And I don't think that what they want for you and what you want for yourself are aligning. One thing that's really important here, okay? And again, this is something that's unseen, something that's a factor that you might not be thinking about right now. It's really, really important that you think about your long-term security, your long-term safety, your long-term stability, your long-term comfort, and really putting limits on anything that puts that at risk. Again, that energy is coming through about who you're trusting at this point, who it is that you're confiding in terms of what your plan is. That's very, very, very important. And it feels like you might not be aware of it. And again, it all kind of ties together in that ultimately I think you're going to be fine, but there are some things here that are a little bit concerning to me because as long as you stay stuck, not wanting to deal with this stuff, these people who have their own agenda, it's almost like it gives them places where they can come in and try to like manipulate you. So dealing with this stuff and getting yourself into the place where you're right, Like this is you really pulling back, saying, I'm going to think about this on my terms. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to ask for people's opinion. I'm not going to tell people even necessarily what my plan is unless I know for sure that I can trust them. Because once you start making decisions and once you start saying to the universe, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, it happens fast, right? And I think keeping things kind of under the radar and a bit guarded is kind of smart here. Okay, so Cancer, this is what we're going to cover in the general reading. For the extended reading, I think I mentioned this, we're going to be opening up that extended reading to messages that want to come through from your guides, your ancestors, and your higher self, specific to the situation, and see what wants to come through in terms of advice or anything else that just wants to be communicated. So if you're going to join me for that extended reading, the link for that is down below in the description box, as well as an explanation of what you need to do to sign up to get access as a channel member to those extended readings. And if you're not going to join me for the extended reading, then just do what you need to do to get yourself through this process and start moving yourself more towards being here. And the faster you can do that, the better. Just all around. It's just better to deal with this stuff and rather than avoiding it. Okay? I will see those of you who are not going to join me for the extended reading in a couple of weeks for mid-month check-in readings. And if you are going to join me for the extended reading, then I will see you over there whenever you click through. Okay. Bye. Hey guys, I'm jumping in here at the end of the reading just to let you know that I have joined TikTok. And so if you're interested in following me there, you can find me at Keegan Kirk. And I would love to see you. If you are going to follow me and you're someone who's subscribed to YouTube, or you found me through YouTube, then take a moment just to leave a comment on any of the videos that I've posted on TikTok and say I'm coming from YouTube, just so I know that you're there and I can say hello.